One trade destroyed a dynasty and built another. And at the center of it all was Charles Haley, a two-time Defensive Player of the Year, the first player in NFL history to win 5 Super Bowls, and one of the most dominant pass rushers the league has ever seen. His presence helped shape both the 49ers dynasty of the 80s and the Cowboys dynasty of the 90s. So why would a team trade away a Hall of Fame pass rusher in his prime? And how could one player alter the fate of 2 NFL dynasties? To answer that, we need to go back to 1986, when the 49ers drafted Charles Haley. Haley attended a small college, was undersized, and ran a 4.8 40-yard time. A perfect recipe for scouts to overlook him. But the 49ers saw something in him, and when they later retimed his 40-yard dash at 4.55 seconds, they were convinced.
I walked into the 49ers, all I could see is people looking down at my feet and coming up. People always worried about my weight. They got to get through my strength. They got, wait, how you gonna stop me when I'm quicker than a hiccup? They call a blitz. On the blitz, I don't get touched.
You don't get touched.
You just go.
You gonna get a sack.
MC Hammer can't touch that.
They created a position for Charles Haley, essentially the elephant position.
And the elephant was a combination defensive end and rush linebacker because he had the size, the strength, and the speed to be able to do that.
You know, here's where he lined up in the first half. 20 times on the left side, 3 times in the middle, 5 times in the right. So what they try and do is move Haley all over so that you don't know, you can't anticipate where he's going to be.
Through a combination of intelligence and physical prowess, Haley earned a starting spot by year 3.
He absolutely was our X factor.
I had the feeling last week that Charles Haley was coming into his own as a linebacker. But I'll tell you, this guy, he made the Pro Bowl this year, Charles Haley. I'll tell you, he is some player. He's one of those guys who plays defensive end. He plays linebacker. He has great speed, great tackler, pass protector. He has everything going for him.
A quarterback controversy resulted in a 6-5 start in 1988, but once Joe Montana reclaimed the starting position, the 49ers went on a run. Their first test came against the Vikings in the divisional round, the team that had knocked them out in a massive upset the year before.
Now, since they won the Super Bowl, they've been in the playoffs 3 times. They've been eliminated in this game. If you look at Montana, in 3 years, he hasn't thrown a touchdown pass. Then Jerry Rice. He's a big play guy. He didn't score a touchdown. His offense has to get in sync.
Montana again. Touchdown to Jerry Rice. Montana goes back to throw it. Chase to Rice. Touchdown. Rice. Rice's 3rd touchdown of the day.
I'll tell you something today. In this first half of football, Joe Montana is about as hot as a quarterback could be. He's about as efficient as a quarterback could be. And I think Charles Haley is the best pass rusher the 49ers have.
Wilson throwing every down. Haley with a sack for a loss of 6. Wilson is sacked again.
There is a happy coach and a happy quarterback. I think they both just got a monkey off their back.
An easy win against the Bears sent the 49ers to their 3rd Super Bowl of the decade.
Do you want the heavy favorite, the San Francisco 49ers, going for their 3rd Super Bowl win in this decade, or the underdogs by 7 points, the Cincinnati Bengals? Roger Craig. A gain of only 1 as he swarmed. First down play, and Montana goes down. And a mix-up as Montana had trouble taking the snap from center. And Bill Walsh's team does not start well. Craig, 50, fumbles, and Cincinnati's Jim Scow recovers at the 41-yard line.
A series of 49er mistakes kept the first quarter close.
Woods again, his 5th carry. Oh, is he? What a pop by Ronnie Lott, the veteran from Southern California.
But that hit had an impact. Ickey Woods was averaging almost 7 yards up to that point, but after the hit, he averaged less than 3 yards. Momentum had shifted.
And Boomer, incomplete. It was Haley applying the pressure on Esiason. Charles Haley and Danny Stubbs. Esiason Incomplete. That is a sack for Larry Roberts and Charles Haley. Farnsworth was the intended receiver at the 37-yard line, and Charles Haley again applying the pressure. Esiason with the clock ticking away, throws it away. He was in the grasp. Charles Haley gets the sack.
Despite gaining some momentum, the 49ers were down 3 points with just over 3 minutes left.
And it appears the 49ers will start deep in their own end.
Joe looks at me and he goes, hey H. And I go, what? And he goes, there's John Candy down there in the end zone. And sure enough, the whole huddle turns around and looks down there. There's John Candy eating popcorn at the other end of the stadium. And I'm like, yeah, that is John Candy. Look at that. And then the official blows a whistle and the play starts.
Montana over the middle to Craig. Montana to Rice again, and he's out of bounds at the Cincinnati 47. Montana to Rice, he's in the corner. Montana, touchdown, John Taylor. And that's it. The game is over. San Francisco has won Super Bowl 23.
The following season, the 49ers blew out the Broncos for their 4th Super Bowl of the decade. Charles Haley was a key piece in what some have said is the most underrated defensive dynasty in NFL history. He would only get better in 1990.
George Seifert has said, if we are going to have a good team and we are going to have a good defense, Charles Haley has to have a big year for us.
Charles Haley given a lot more freedom to rush the passer now. He feels like they're using him the way he feels he should be used.
That guy is made to rush the quarterback. He's quick, he's strong.
Charles Haley continues relentlessly. He's been stopped, but he also finds a way to get the heat on right here. And it's his pressure on Gannon that forces this bad throw. Look at this, off the back foot.
Charles Haley destroyed that play. He came from the outside and just came right up underneath everything. Now watch him take on blockers and just create turmoil. Two different people trying to get him. He comes underneath the blocker, and that time Merrill Hodge really was up against one of the great ones in the game.
Well, you'll see Haley now is in the middle. They move him right side, left side, and in the middle. Wherever they want to get a pass rush, they put Charles Haley. We saw him come from outside left, outside right, then they put him in the middle. Then he draws the crowd and see 2 plays in a row. He didn't make the play, but the guy right next to him did. Hey, if I could take one player with me to start a defense, well, I'd probably take Lawrence Taylor and I'd probably take Reggie White, and then I think I'd go after Charles Haley and get him third.
Haley was now one of the best pass rushers in the league, but he was also dealing with an undiagnosed bipolar disorder that made him unpredictable.
Who's the craziest teammate you ever had?
Charles Haley. That's not hard.
At his best, he is loving and caring and sensitive. At his worst, he's temperamental, he's irritating, he's caustic.
George, come here. They want to get you, George. They want everybody in the world to see what a 340-pound mulligan look like.
We'd be having team meetings, and he'd have a towel over his leg, and you'd look at Charles Haley, and you'd be like, what is he doing? And he'd be masturbating during team meetings. Not only that, sometimes he would masturbate during team meetings while talking about other players' wives.
Charles is crazy for real, you know?
The 49ers had lost control of Haley by 1991. The final straw came in a Week 5 loss to the LA Raiders.
I was yelling and screaming at the team and stuff, and all of a sudden, George wanted me to sit down, and I turned and I swung and I hit the brick wall, and then guys grabbed me and I was swinging, and I almost put my hand through that glass door where that wire is, so I cut my wrist and everything up. So I'm bleeding, and so they go get Ronnie, and Ronnie comes in, man, and gives me a hug. I think I probably had a nervous breakdown or something. I couldn't control my emotions, and first of all, you have to remember, they cut Ronnie at the Pro Bowl. I was right there with Ronnie when he got cut, and I couldn't forgive him for that.
It was like the ship was rudderless, and that drove Charles crazy. And so when Ronnie left, they lost Charles Haley at the same time.
And so, the 49ers believed they had no choice but to trade him. The Cowboys were once America's team, But by the 1980s, they had fallen into irrelevancy.
When I bought the Cowboys in 1989, it looked like an economic nuclear bomb had gone off. Buildings were half finished. The buildings that were finished were half occupied. Banks, 90% of them went broke during that particular time. The Dallas Cowboys were losing $1 million cash a month.
After trading their franchise player, Herschel Walker, for a bounty of picks, the Cowboys were able to quickly rebuild. And while they were once again competitive, they were still one key piece away from contending for a Super Bowl.
We were up and coming, but we didn't have that one guy that just offenses had to focus on, as to who they were going to pay attention to with the pass rush.
We had a young group of guys, our young defensive line and everything. When Charles came in, he just took it to another level.
We couldn't spell Super Bowl in Dallas until we got Charles Haley from the 49ers. He was the key piece to the puzzle.
Despite his frustration in San Francisco, Haley was insulted by the trade.
My only thought process was, how dare them think they can replace me so easily? And that drove me every day.
On its opening night, nobody's going to win the Super Bowl tonight, but Dallas is sending a pretty good message out. One of them has been a kind of subtle because he has not gotten too ripping that much, has been the play of Charles Haley. What they didn't do last year, they had 23 sacks, they only had 12 interceptions. He's going to make a major difference in their basketball. And what a great pass rush by Charles Haley, who takes the inside rush, splits a couple of Redskins, and smothers Rippon. What a wonderful addition for the Dallas Cowboys, Charles Haley.
Watch Haley here. What he does is he's going to take an inside move, but he takes about 3 guys with him, and he makes a pile right in front of the quarterback. Now, he doesn't have a lot of sacks this year, but what? 1, 2, 3 guys blocking him, and he's still in there raising havoc.
And there was another case where Charles Haley made the play. Someone else gets the sack.
This is an exceptional play by Charles Haley as he has to play the run and then come out on the bootleg. Watch his right hand get in on this play, and watch his left hand, his near hand. Outstanding play by Charles Haley.
And he's had, though statistically not a sensational year, he has been the acknowledged leader of this defense since coming here from the 49ers.
After acquiring Haley, the Cowboys' defense improved from 17th in total points allowed to 5th. And with Haley drawing frequent double, even triple teams, their sack total rose from 23 to 44 in 1992. The result was a 13-3 record, the second best in the NFL. The best record belonged to the 49ers, who the Cowboys would be visiting for the NFC Championship game.
For me, it was just homecoming, just revenge a little bit about, because, they thought I was so easy to be replaced.
Live in rainy San Francisco at Candlestick Park, the NFC Championship game between the Dallas Cowboys, being introduced right now, and the San Francisco 49ers.
Charles Haley is a guy who is going to cause havoc with this 49er team today. When Charles Haley goes to the inside, he can make bad things happen to the offense.
Charles Haley really made the difference for our football team in raising the expectation for all of us of what it took to be a champion.
We knew that these were the 2 best teams in football. And people had argued that it was the 49ers or the Cowboys. Today, here in Candlestick, the Cowboys proved that they were the best team.
What a scene and what a glorious day in Southern California. And will this be the year where we have that dramatic finish in the Super Bowl? The odds makers say no, that Dallas will win by a touchdown.
You're going to see the pressure come from the right side. Kelly not even paying attention to the right side. Haley hits his arm, caught in the air. Jimmy Jones in the end zone.
Aikman. Another touchdown. Aikman. Touchdown. Michael Irvin. Aikman to Irvin again. Touchdown. It's Aikman with the ball, and he's going deep. Harper wide open. Touchdown.
What a performance by this young Dallas Cowboy football team.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
The Cowboys had won their first Super Bowl since 1977. But to become the team of the 90s, they would need more Super Bowls. And that would be hard without one of their best players.
I thought I earned the right and deserve
the right to be paid as the highest paid running back at the time in the National Football League because of my performance.
Emmett wanted like $1 more than Thurman Thomas because he's saying, I just won back-to-back rushing titles and beat him in the Super Bowl and badly outplayed him.
The Cowboys dropped to 0-2. Mike, Jerry Jones would have to swallow a lot of pride at this point to allow the 0-2 start to affect his bargaining position with Emmitt Smith, should he do it.
It's imperative that he signs Smith. If he doesn't, he's making the biggest mistake he's ever made in his life.
After the game, Charles Haley just throws his helmet across the locker room, knocks a hole in the wall, and hey, we've got it. We can't win without Emmett.
The Super Bowl champion Cowboys at 0-2 are a very disturbed team. They got a big emotional lift this Thursday when Emmitt Smith gave up his 63-day holdout to become the highest paid running back in the National Football League, and this Cowboy team is ecstatic about his return.
No team in NFL history has ever started 0-2 and go on to win the Super Bowl.
But with Emmett back, the Cowboys went on a run, winning 12 of the remaining 14 games. A divisional round win against the Packers set up their second straight NFC Championship game against the 49ers.
If the Cowboys are going to be successful, they need Emmitt Smith. They need a big day from Emmitt Smith.
Take them back to throw. They lost a yard last play. Side Emmitt Smith. Emmett still on his feet in the 49er territory to their 43. Here's Emmitt Smith. Touchdown, Cowboys. Here's Aikman, back to throw it. Emmitt Smith will walk in.
Most of his work was in that first half, but that's when the Cowboys got their big lead, too.
That was that dominating first half. They led 28-7.
This is my Super Bowl. The next game we play just to be a regular game for me because this game means more to me than anything else, just playing my ex-teammates.
The Cowboys would defeat the Bills again in Super Bowl 28. In 1994, the 49ers were determined to defeat the Cowboys, so they signed Deion Sanders to a one-year deal. The move paid off as they defeated the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game and went on to win Super Bowl 29. In response, Jerry Jones signed Deion Sanders in 1995, and the Cowboys would win their third title in 4 years. That also made Charles Haley the first player to win 5 rings. But a back injury in 1996 and his daughter's battle with leukemia forced Haley to retire. He made a brief return to the 49ers in 1998, but he was no longer the same player. Haley was a clear lock for the Hall of Fame as soon as he retired, but it took until 2015 for him to be inducted.
The issue is there was a love-hate relationship, mostly hate, between Charles and the media. And I think that's the reason why it took Charles so long to get into the Hall of Fame.
It pissed me off because nobody's did what I've done, but yet the media, because I was anti-media or sometimes hostile, so they want to hold that against me, but they didn't look at my body of work.
Once again, the Hall of Fame exposed themselves. Another player who really shows their flawed decision-making is Ken Anderson. If you want to learn about his case for Canton, check out this video here.